XSS is short for cross-site scripting. This type of vulnerability allows an attacker to inject JavaScript into a page. So JavaScript is a programming language, and using this vulnerability, an attacker would be able to execute code written in JavaScript into a certain page, into a website. JavaScript is a client-side language, so when the code is executed, it will be executed on the client, on the user, on the person who is browsing the web page. It's not going to be executed on the server, so even if your code results into giving you a reverse shell, the shell will be coming from the user who is browsing the page, and it's not going to be coming from the website. So any code you write in JavaScript will be exploited or will run on the target user, on the people who see the pages, and it's not on the web server. So the web server is only going to be used as means of executing the code or delivering the code. There's three main types of XSS vulnerabilities: persistent or stored, reflected, and DOM-based. The stored XSS gets stored into the database, so the code that you inject will be stored into the database or into the page, so that every time any person views that page, your code will be executed. And the reflected one, the code will only be executed when the target user runs a specific URL crafted or written by you. So you'll be manipulating some sort of URL and send it to a target. And when they run that target, when they run that URL, the code will be executed. The DOM-based results from JavaScript code written on the client. So the code will actually be interpreted and run on the client side without having any communication with the web server. These could be very dangerous because sometimes web servers apply some sort of security and filtration to check for XSS, but with DOM-based, the code never gets sent to the web server. So the code will be interpreted and run on the web browser without even interacting with the web server. And these will be present into websites that update their content without refresh. So we've all used websites where you put your username, for example, and it loads in straight away without having to check with the web server, or you put some sort of a string and it does a search without communicating with the web server, or it does something without communicating with the web server. So if you're able to inject into that, then this injection will not be validated, so it'll be executed straight away and bypass all validations.